Remember that commercial I shared earlier about the New Yorker and multitasking? Well, I eat mindlessly often and believe you do too. Eating and at the same time talking, reading, emailing, and for some of us even driving, all really bad habits for our brain and overall health. In this lecture, your instructor will go over some techniques that you can incorporate starting today to introduce mindful eating in your life. You will learn how to appreciate your food, how to appreciate senses, people who produced it, etc. This will also connect with the gratitude, which we know, based on multiple research, helps us become happier and even more successful. This doesn't mean that every meal you will eat mindfully. For most of us, that is impractical. But even if you practice few minutes a day, just a few minutes a day, it will change your life and somehow will take a turn into other areas of your life. So you may start eating slower, which will in turn help you eat less. Only, of course, if this is what you want. It will improve your metabolism and help you stay in the present moment. Most of us, most of the time, eat mindlessly, not even realizing how eating mindfully can have tremendous benefits for our health and overall well-being. Now, I am not saying it is possible to eat mindfully all the time. It is not. But let's give it a try, just for some times. So, first, I will explain this exercise, and then you will need to practice it. Remember, without trying, you will receive no benefits. So if you want to go to Carnegie Hall, remember in one of the lectures in New York, you got to practice. Mindfully eating can really be practiced anywhere, anytime. Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, who we talked about earlier, deserves the credit for introducing what he called mindfully eating a raisin. That became a standard. Exercise that almost everyone is teaching these days when they teach mindfulness. Another one you may run into is a mindful eating of a piece of chocolate. In one of my workshops, I talked how my wife and I have a piece of dark chocolate every night after dinner. We store the chocolate in the basement, particularly in our wine cellar, so that it is far away from us. And you may be, all from my habits program, you learn about 20-second rules. So keep it even 20 seconds away will help you if you don't want to do something. Anyway, when I told my program participants that I go after dinner to cut the small squares of chocolate for each of us, and in one of the program, one of the participants asked if I actually take a bigger piece. My wife was in the room, or do I take a more? My wife was in the room, and I said, I must admit, I often do, but I digress. So, how do you eat mindfully? Next time you have a meal, try this. After this lesson, next meal, try this. Ideally, you will be by yourself unless you can convince your partner or whoever is eating with you to do the same. This can be during any meal. Think about air, water, sun necessary to nurture and produce that piece of food. Think of a weather condition that piece of fruit, if it is fruit, vegetable, or anything else, has to go through. Think of people who harvested it. Their friends and family. What did they do? What do they do? They probably make a living doing this. Think about the living they might have with this job. Do they enjoy what they do? Think of people who transported it from the farm, let's say, to your store or another warehouse between the store and the farm. People in your store. Some picked it up from the truck. Some or same people put it on the shelves. Some marked that price, etc. Until finally you came to pick it up. You brought it to cashier. Once you had that piece of fruit, think about how your feet, they help you bring it to your car. Then maybe there was some transportation vehicle involved, or maybe you simply walked and carried it home. And then what happened? Who else was involved? Did it go to the fridge first? Did you cut it and prepared it and by yourself? Or somebody else did that for you? It probably took years for this piece of food, vegetable, fruit, and many other people to have this finally at your table. Now, after all these steps, the food is finally prepared, cooked, and ready to eat. Smell it. Look at the shape and start eating it slowly. Slowly. Feel it in your mouth. Smell it. Enjoy it. Every single bite. Enjoy it mindfully.